What's up, everybody? Gridbot Guru here, and today I'm going to help you guys set up your first grid bot, or I'm going to walk you through some of the ins and outs of how to set one up. On Telegram, on the Discord link, I see a lot of people asking about how to end up actually setting up a grid bot. So today, what we're going to do, I found a trade I like, and I'm going to set one up. Again, please do your own research. Don't just trade because it is something that I'm doing. Trade because you want to actually trade. So, without any more hesitation, okay, if you're not part of Pionex, you're going to need to sign up. That's going to be the first thing. So, if trading bots are interesting to you, what you're going to need to do is you are going to need to go ahead, click the link below, click the link in the video at the beginning of the video or at the end of the video, and sign up today. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to walk through some of the ins and outs of making your first grid bot. So first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to sign up. Once you sign up, you're going to need to get some funds on Pionex. So you can do that. You can deposit funds. You can send them. You can use Pionex Lite, I think it is, to actually purchase the funds and then send them to the actual Pionex exchange. There's several different ways. If you have another exchange that you have been using, you can send them from that exchange. And there's lots of different ways to do it. So make sure you are using the most cost effective way. I know if I'm sending USDT, I think the TRC20 I think is $1 for deposit and withdrawal, and I think ERC20 is like $25. So make sure you're using your head on how to get your funds to Pionex. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to try to find a pair that you want to trade. I usually keep a lot of my funds in USDT, and you're going to end up seeing that here in a second, that I have a lot of those. I have mainly USDT, and those are where my funds are. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So what you're going to do is you're going to sign in, and you're going to come to either trade, or you can go to market. If you go to market, it'll show you some of the big volumes for USDT. If you are a person who likes to trade with Bitcoin, you have BTC. Looks like Luna BTC has gone down some, but the volume looks like the volume was pretty good on that one. I usually try to get the ones that have more volume, and the reason why I do that is because I want movement with these grid bots. What you are going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that the coin is moving. It's not stagnant. It's not sitting still. And in a bit, you're going to see you might see a couple of my coins, my bots, that they're just sitting there. They're chilling. I'm down quite a bit on 2 of them, I think, possibly 4. And I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to keep it going because, again, at some point, they're going to come back up. And when they do, I want to be able to get some of those going. So I'm going to switch to USDT. I'm going to look for some 24-hour volume. So it looks like we got a lot of people who are trading ETH, a lot of people trading Bitcoin. Luna is way up there. The one that I saw earlier, and this is another thing that I also use, is I use TradingView to look up specifics, and I have a crypto screener that I use on TradingView. So I really liked BTT. I really liked how it was moving. So this is going to be your page. This is what your page looks like, and this is going to be on the website. The app looks a little bit different, but for the most part, it is going to be very similar, okay? So you have an order book over here. I typically don't use an order book. Here on the bottom is going to be all of my bots that I have running. So, I got 5 that are pretty red. So what you end up having, so you could see the profit for some of these. Some of these are absolutely brutal. What is that one? SOC and Mass. They both are not doing very well. I'm down 85% and 83% respectively on those. However, some of the Martingale bot is really the one that I am really liking at the moment. Anyway, going ahead and going to get started. So you have a typical chart in the center of your screen. Okay, in the center of your screen, you're going to end up having a typical chart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it to where you guys can see kind of where I'm at. So on this chart, this is going to end up showing the pair that you have picked, whatever pair you end up having. Over here, you have grid trading, martingale bot, spot futures, rebalancing. You have a couple of moon bots, BTC Moon, ETH Moon. You have leverage grids, margin grids. If you have signed up before the switch, I do not think Pionex offers those anymore. But leverage, margin, reverse grid, leverage, reverse grid, infinity grids, and then down at the bottom you have a smart trade, trailing sell, trailing buy, DCA, TWAP, and a stop limit. I'm eventually going to do one on all of these, but we're going to go ahead and start off with a grid trading because that personally is one of the easier ones to kind of wrap your head around if you are new to automatic buying and selling, bot trading. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our screen a little bit prettier. And to do that, I'm going to come over here. So whether you are a dark mode or light mode person, you can switch. There's a little moon right here. I know that probably had a lot of you who are like, ooh, that looks so much better. I don't like it though. So I'm going to switch back to light mode. Here, this is expanding the chart. This is going to be, you tap to enter the bot details page. So this tells you about all of the bots that you have currently going on. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 bots going on. 11 bots going on. So, and then what you can do is you can actually go into like the details section, and it kind of tells you, kind of gives you a rundown of what's going on with that. So this is going to be up at the top. You have all of the different types of bots you can end up choosing, and it will tell you a little bit more about what's going on with each one of those. But what we're going to do now, we're not going to focus on that right now. We are going to go back and we are going to go and make our first grid trading bot. And if you need help with support, here's your chat with support down here. I did skip over this one because I wanted to make sure you guys saw some of the normal layout first before I expanded the chart. This is my personal favorite view. And you can kind of see where things are. So right here, this is going to be, a lot of people ask about buying, showing buy and sell levels. Okay. If you click on that or click off of that, it will show you where exactly your buys and sells are on the chart. So with that, I'm on a daily. I'm going to jump down to maybe a 4 hour. Let's look at a 4 hour and see what that looks like right now. So on 4 hour, you can see that we have some low areas right here. You can see we kind of hit this area and now we're heading up, okay? I'm going to put, and this is me personally on the 4 hour, I'm looking to put my top grid around 30, we'll say 308, okay? So if we look at our daily chart, 308 would put us about right here. I like that. I like that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to remember 308, 0.00308. And I'm also going to come here and I'm going to say, okay, 0.0024, we'll say 5. 24, we'll say 245. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to create. I'm going to click on it. Now, what you have here is you have a use AI strategy, or you can set it up manually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help on both accounts. So if you use the AI, based on the last 7 days, if you would have been running this, you would have around that percent, okay, per year, based on the last 7 days. So if the last 7 days continued that way throughout the entire year, you would have about 119.34% profit. Now, here is the problem with that. Not everything runs the same the past 7 days, okay? So if there is a coin and it has a sudden pump, then what you could end up having is that number could be super big. It could also be really big if there is a reverse split on some of the tokens. So I know that sometimes people are like, oh, this token has gone up, 50,000%, but it's because it had a reverse split. So make sure you're doing your research on these back testing annualized returns, okay? If I were to go and just click create, my grid range would be 0.0021 to 0.0032, and I would have 75 grids. Okay, that's the AI strategy. Down here, what I can do is I can use this slider and I can end up adjusting it to however much I want to end up putting into this buy. So if I want to put $200 into it, I would just go and I would make sure I slide it to around $200. Okay. If I want to put $100 into it, I would slide it down to 100, and it's going to show yellow because I need to have at least $107 in the investment. So I'd have to pull it up some to where it ends up. You can also back it down with the arrows if that helps out. So I can do about 36%. Now, what a lot of people like to do is they like to click right here where it says copy parameters to manual settings. And if you click that, it actually takes you over to a manual setting. So you can end up typing in exactly what you're wanting to input. So this brings us to our low price. If you remembered, I think my low price should be about 20, what was it? 20, 25.5, I think it was. And my high price, I was wanting it to be 30, 32.5, I thought. We'll say 33. Now, what you're going to notice is my total investment now has gone down to $98. And that is because I've changed the low price and I've changed the high price. And so I now have less of an area to buy down to, and I have an area that I can sell to. I have 75 buy and sell grids. I will explain that once we actually start this bot. And my profit is 0.21 to 0.30% per grid. Again, I will explain that once we start it. I personally like to get about 30% and up. But what we're going to do is we're going to go even better, because I know a lot of people disagree with me on that. And actually, no, we're going to go 30% and up. So I want to do, so 75 was around 21 to 30. I'm going to do, what's 70 look like? 23. What about 50? 50 grids, 37 to 50%. 55 grids, 32, 59, 7. There, I like that one. 31 to 42. Now I'm going to put $100 in. Okay. Now at this point, you can go ahead and click create, and it will create the grid for you, the grid bot. You can also expand it down here. And what this will end up having, there's a couple different settings here. You have a trigger price. So say you want to set this grid up and only start it if BTT hits a certain price. What it will do is it will wait until BTT hits that certain price, and then it will continue moving up. Okay, and then that's when it's going to start. For those of you who are fairly good with knowing where things are right now, one of the major areas for Bitcoin would be like 40,000. Another one might be 50,000. So if it's like 45,000 and you don't want to start this grid until it hits 40,000, then what you can do is you can say that I want to do a grid from 40 to 50,000, and I only want to start in the trigger price at 40,000. So it's going to drop until it hits that 40,000, and that is when the grid will start. You also have a stop loss, okay? And that's going to act just like every other stop loss out there. If it hits that price, it will sell all of your coins, I believe, and you will end up having everything converted over to USDT. Your take profit will be exactly that. So when your bot, or when the price hits this number, whatever number you put in for a take profit, it will convert everything over to USDT and lock in profits. Okay. Now you're going to notice that all three of those things are optional. I usually don't use the top two. The bottom one I usually use for the top of my grid, and maybe even a little bit above my grid. So I'm going to go ahead. So it's 0.0033 is my upper grid. So I'm going to say 0.0033, and I'm going to say 1. Slippage control. So you may, depending on when you start a bot, you're going to end up having a market price. So if that price is going crazy, very, very, very high movement, and you say, okay, I want to start it now, it could jump up 2% by the time you start. So you can end up kind of setting this to make sure you have like a 1% or a 5%, or you don't have any. I usually just go for it. If I am entering into a trade, I like the trade and I just go for it. The grid mode. This is going to be arithmetic or geometric. Geometric and arithmetic are two different types of modes. So arithmetic is going to be when the prices are, the grid are the same. So like you have everything would be like I'm trying to explain it. It's difficult for me to explain. So Arithmetic is going to be everything, every grid is kind of weighted the same. Geometric, from my understanding, is the grids that are further away, or maybe I have that backwards now that I'm reading it. Arithmetic means, the price difference between the grids are the same. So what you will end up having is like arithmetic is like every 2 cents is a buy, but geometric is the percentage. So every percent it moves is going to be a buy. So I think I was right on my first explanation. Geometric, the values on the very, very ends are going to be greater. They're going to have a greater weight than the ones towards the middle. And then the investment. The investment, you can, if you had a bunch of BTT, you could use both of it or both of them. And then you would have to come up here and you would have to set how much BTT you wanted to end up using in order to start the bot. So with this bot, it would have to be over 785 BTT in order to start it. I don't have any BTT, so I'm going to use USDT only. So with all of this being said, I have my 100. I'm going to go ahead and click create bot. It talks a little bit more. It makes sure that that is what you want. Double check it. Make sure you're double checking everything, and go ahead and you can click create. So now you have a bot that has been created. Okay. And what you can end up doing is, let me get to the full screen. So here is the screen that I like to look at. And what you can end up doing is, if you go up here where it says show buy, sell price levels, and you click, you're going to see these red and green lines. Now, right now, you're probably thinking those look ugly. And I agree. They look terrible. But when we scale down, let's look down to a 1 hour. When we scale down, you're going to end up seeing that this is going to be all of the buys and sells. Okay, I'm going to go even further, and I'm going to go 15 minutes. Actually, I'm going to go 5 so we can really look at them. So what you're going to notice is, get even a little bit closer in for you. What you're going to notice is right now, I am right here. So if the price goes up to this red line, that is going to be a sell. Okay. And what's going to happen is that sell will be replaced by a green line down here somewhere. And so what you are going to see is, you're going to see these green and red lines just continuously move. So if we go back and we look at this area, so if we look at we look at all of this. So if I would have started my bot right here on this bar, it would have went sell, 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 sell. And then on that same bar, and this is all in 5 minutes, buy, 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 and then it would have stopped right here. The next 5 minutes, it would have gone buy, 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 buy. And it may have bought this one on this next part, but we ended up selling again. So you're going to see the power of this grid bot. And this is just going to continue going until one of two things happens. The first thing that could end up happening is it goes above your grid. So if it goes and say I didn't have a take profit set, if I didn't have a take profit set and it goes all the way up here, it's not going to trade anymore. It may come back down and start trading again, but up here, it will not trade. And then if it goes all the way down here, it's not going to trade anymore. It may come back up and start trading again, but it's not going to trade anymore with that. Okay. Now let's go to the My Orders page, and I want to show you, this is where we're at. So this is my BTT USDT. I can click on details here. And currently right now, my total profit is, I'm down 10 cents. I have an unrealized profit, now it's changed, of negative 5 cents. I have not made any transactions. When you make a transaction, you're going to see it on this grid profit area. So let's go ahead and let's come over to the placed orders. This is going to be, that shows where the orders are. So you're going to notice that this red line, it's going like this. So I have 0.28% to go before this sell price gets filled. And I have negative 0.69% to go until this buy price gets filled. So you can kind of keep track and kind of see how things are moving. You can look at transactions. I don't currently have any transactions. You can look at parameters. That's going to tell you kind of where you're at. And that's stuff that we have already talked about. My starting price is 0.00282812. And so you can kind of use that to see where your starting price was. Release profit. This is going to end up being if you can end up releasing any of the profit, it will show up here. A lot of times people think that automatically you can end up releasing profit. That is not the way it works. There is a threshold that it has to hit before you're able to release any of that profit. Okay? So I want you guys all to make sure that you know that. So even though I'm in profit right now, I can't release any because, first off, it's not a grid profit. Second off, there's a threshold that must be hit before I'm able to end up releasing that profit. So I have $34 in total buy orders, and my total sell orders are 21,560 BTT. All right. Kind of lets you know where exactly we are at with that. We have a net buy price here. You have your holdings buy price. So this net buy price and this holdings buy price, those are going to be a little bit different. So the net buy price is how much you have currently bought in and at what price. Okay. The holdings buy price is how much you're holding and the buy price for that. So this one is going to be your, I believe it's going to be your average price. Okay. And this one's going to end up being your, the actual, like, where you've started, I believe. You can see over here, right now, I have a grid profit of 0.003398. That means I have made a buy or a sell. I've made a sell, and I'm looking to continue making other sells. Now, I will say that if I were to stop this bot right now, I would have a total of 9 cents profit. So I would walk away with $100.08. And if I come over here and I say close, it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to stop the grid bot? Do you want us to help you automatically sell? You can say, please sell it, yes, and it'll convert everything over to USDT. Or you can say, don't sell. And what it will do is anything that you currently have, any BTT that you're currently holding, it will keep that and just store it as a coin for you. But everything else, the USDT, you will be able to continue using. Okay. I'm going to click discard. And I believe we have gone over the full Here we go. This will be a good one. So right here, what you end up having is if you go to transactions, you can see your first transaction. It was so I bought it at 14.05 and I sold it at 14.11. And notice that I didn't do any of that. I didn't have to do anything. I just set it up and it took off on its own. The price, this is going to end up being what I bought it for. This is what I sold it for. The volume is going to be right here of USDT. And then the fee is built in. That's another thing, is this total profit has the fee already taken out. So when you're seeing that total profit, that is what you actually have currently in your pocket. Okay. So sometimes people are saying, are the fees already included? The fees are already taken out. Yes. All right. All right, everybody. I'm hoping that helps out. As I said, this will be the very first video I'm hoping you get a chance to view. I'm hoping this has helped out. I'm hoping this has gotten you to where you need to end up being. As I've said, if you have questions, please message somebody. Telegram, we're active there. Discord, we're active there. We have our Facebook group. We're active. Okay. So if you have questions, please make sure you're asking. Don't just go in blindly. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell so that other people can end up getting involved with this as well. The great thing about this is I do not have to watch this chart at all. What I can do is I can go up, I can go out, I can go to dinner. It is going to continue trading for me the entire time. As long as it's in between my top and my bottom parameters, my high and my low, it will continue trading for me until I tell it not to. Okay. So I know a lot of times people have asked, do you have to end up having your computer going? No, you don't. You don't have to have your computer going. You don't have to have a computer open. You don't have to be signed in. This is the website. This is the way it looks. It looks a little bit different, but still the same stuff on the app. Okay. You don't have to have anything going, just you, and you set it up and you let it go. All right. All right, everybody. I hope this helped you out. If it did, leave a comment below. Happy trading. Hope you have a great week trading. Stay green, and I'll see you next time.